everybody? It's your boy, Mr. Dan Banks, aka DJ Fine, CEO of JTU. We are Jersey Magazine and Jersey Diamonds. I'm here with the best, one of our favorite entertainment journalists, Miss Natalee.
Thanks for having me, guys. And you guys are my favorite platform.
Listen, we love her, man. She is so dope. You've probably seen her on many of our stories, many of our posts, but we're going to get to know Miss Natalee. She is a dope New Jersey journalist. She has her own platform called It's the Fresh Minds?
The Fresh Finds.
The Fresh Finds. There we go. It's the Fresh Finds. You know what I'm saying? She got to let me know what it is. But it's the Fresh Finds and everything. Dope playlist blogger. You can download the app. Make sure you go check it out. It's available on Google Play.
Google Play and Apple.
And Apple Play. So make sure you go check that out. So let's get to know Miss Natalee. So sit back, relax. Listen, we're both short, so we got to kick it. So let's talk about you being a journalist, right? Just entertainment journalist. First of all, what first got you into writing in general? Because you have to have a specific type of love for just writing in general to even want to start writing about other people. So just talk about your love for writing in general.
Sure. So my love for writing, it stemmed from when I was growing up. I don't recall everything that I wrote, but I remember I would come up with short stories, poetry, things of that nature. And I would always get compliments about my writing in English class.
Yeah.
But then that kind of transitioned to me wanting to be different things like, let's say, a dancer, a detective, and even an actress at one point.
This is all in the lane of entertainment, yeah.
So after I found out none of that wasn't really my true calling, I went to this music festival called The Meadows. It's in New York. So I went there and I saw all of these really great artists performing, but I started thinking to myself, what about the upcoming artists? Like, they don't really have, a platform like this. So I just decided to take it into my own hands. At the time I was working at AT&T when I first started the Fresh Finds. So I was just talking to the manager that was working there at the time about it. And he was like, why are you just waiting for somebody? Just do it on your own. And here we are now.
Absolutely. And not only, and with the Fresh Finds, because we can say on that actually, you're actually giving artists a lane to have their music put on your playlist, which has over 9K followers on it. So make sure you go check that out because it's developing, it's growing. And then it's also a blog. So now, how did you come up with that formula for that lane with your company?
So I realized that there's not really any music blogs that have an app. So I did talk to somebody that I know. And he basically created it for me. His name is Daniel, so if you want to check him out, his AG is AG Havocs. He also sells sneakers.
Yeah.
So we chopped it up, and he basically just brought my idea to life. So I really appreciate him for that. And as far as the playlisting go, this company named New Playlist had reached out for me. They're based in Arizona. They were checking out the Fresh Finds page for a while. So they just brought up the opportunity. And they essentially just helped me just build and grow the playlist as well.
That's awesome. And now your platform is around a lot of like the hip hop scene and everything. So now, what kind of love for music do you have for you to be able to actually want to write about it? Did you grow up on hip hop, or did you grow up on just a music background in general that gave you like this idea of like, I want to write about hip hop artists, but not just the ones that everybody hears about, but also the underground. So like a little bit of your background history about as far as like love for music.
Sure. So I did grow up listening to music. I've listened to Tupac, Biggie, Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh, the throwbacks. Okay.
And I then transitioned to R&B. I was listening to Jill Scott, Ashanti, Keisha Cole.
She said the whole verses.
Who else was I listening to? Raven Simone.
Oh, wow.
Surprisingly, growing up, she actually was into music, so I was listening to her a lot. And then that transitioned to pop. I can't recall all the pop artists I listened to, but I know Justin Timberlake was one, and Britney Spears.
Definitely.
Even Justin Bieber. I was a really big Justin Bieber fan.
It's early 2000s. Just reminiscing right now.
So in the process of doing that, a cousin of mine, she would often just introduce me to music that no one's ever heard about through MySpace, because MySpace was popping back then. So and that eventually turned to me making my own MySpace and just exploring, you know how they have the music field. So I just explored that, found some artists that were underground. I was like, they're actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So that really intrigued me, just to have music that I know and just put on somebody else who didn't know them. And it just took off from there.
That's awesome. Now, as far as moving now into the writing aspect of your background with journalism, how did you get involved with some of the writing platforms? Like you're involved with FM, hip hop, is it the feature presentation, and just all these other platforms that you have. Like, how did you get involved with these other writing platforms?
Instagram, I would say, is a very, very, very powerful tool.
Sure is.
That's basically how I built up everything. I started from just reaching out to artists to basically just reaching out to platforms to see if they needed someone to write about. With Culture Hub, I actually found them through Indeed. Yeah. So that's how I got on board with them. The feature presentation, my boss, I love her to death, her name is Amber. She posted a flyer saying she was looking for interns. So I inquired about that through that post. And then with Cherry Martinez, how I got connected with her was through Kai. He runs Young Atlas. So he basically told me she was looking for, just some more writers for her team. Yeah. So I reached out to her, got through there. Rap Fiesta, word of mouth again.
Yeah, definitely.
Someone I know linked me up with the person that created Rap Fiesta. So it was really just a combination of just social media and word of mouth. Yeah. To summarize it all.
That's awesome. The power of social media, man. Definitely go check it out. I'm telling you. So now, what is the internal feeling? I want to take it back a little. What is the internal feeling you get when somebody says, "Hey, Natalee, I want you to write about me," and it's just like from there, like what's the point? What's the starting point for you? Like when somebody says, "Can you write about me?" Like if I was an artist, and it's like, "Can you write about me?" Like what is some of the research process that goes along with that? Because a lot of upcoming journalists and writers, like sometimes they don't know where to start. And sometimes they have difficulty finding different things. So for you, what's some of the process that goes along with that?
Oh, with just finding a new artist, or?
With finding new artists and then also starting the writing process about the person.
Oh, okay. So, of course, I do check out their music before anything to see if it is worth both of our times. 9 times out of 10 it is.
I like how you put that.
So I basically just check out their page, check out their recent single or album they put out. I'm trying to work on time management when it comes to replying, but I do respond. Yeah. As soon as
She busy, y'all. She busy. Give her a shit. She busy. Right.
Then basically I just ask them, what are they looking for? Yeah. If they're looking for a certain platform, I send them over, a few questions to answer, in regards to every, either it's the album or the song that they're releasing. And then from there, once they send the answers back, I'll just do some more research. I'll look online if they had any recent articles written about them. I'll dive into their YouTube to see if they had any visuals. And just basically the music. When I'm listening to music, I'll take down notes. Just some key points or some lyrics that they say. Just how the beat made me feel or how I think it sounds. Yeah. And I just put everything together from there.
So you kind of personalize it in the sense that you kind of internalize it in a way where it's like, look, this is how this song made me feel. So the way that I'm writing it is the way that I want other people to identify. That is so dope. This is why journalists are so important. Understand the behind the scenes that goes along with this music.
Yeah.
So we definitely appreciate you. Thank you again for coming. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Now, let's dive a little bit deeper, right? So not only does she write for indie artists, but she also writes for a lot of artists that are on higher platforms. So now let's talk about balance, right? Balance is very important. And also, like you said, you even mentioned time management, right?
Yeah.
So talk to me about the balance of writing for an artist that maybe at a little bit of a higher platform and then writing about an underground artist. Like what's the kind of energy that you put into those type of writers?
I feel like I put in mutual energy for both of them. I don't put a bigger artist over a smaller artist. I think that's really unfair, especially in terms of creativity. I feel like everybody puts themselves into, their music. Yeah. So why should I limit them from that? That wouldn't be fair to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how I basically balance it is, I just do a little bit of both. I do the same process for everybody. I don't turn my head. I don't care how much following you have. As long as you got good music, you're trying to push it out there, I'm going to be right behind you. Pushing it with you.
That's dope. Tight. Motivation cool. We gotta get that for shirt. It's dope. So now, as far as like you said, with time management and everything, with all the different types of articles that you write, do you ever get writer's block?
I do. I get writer's block.
And now, how do you go through the process of getting over that? Because I feel like even artists get writer's block, but like the writers writing about the artist can get writer's block too. So now, how do you go through the process of getting over something like that?
Well, aside from just screaming at the wall at myself because I get writer's block, I just sit on it. I just wait to see if something comes up. And 9 times out of 10, it'll be when I'm doing something random, like if I'm in the shower or if I'm in the passenger seat of a car or eating. It could be really anything.
Yeah.
I also do try to just take some notes, like a little bit of notes, and just keep looking at it over and over to see if something will spark. Yeah. So that's basically how I get over writing.
Do you ever find yourself having a lot of difficult articles too, right? Or do you find them basically kind of balancing itself out? Like, do you see a season in your life where you may have been going through something and then it could be like relatable artists that you were writing about going through the same thing? Mm-hmm. Or do you find it as like it's a sequence of different types of, I guess, scenarios going on at once that you got to try to create like this balancing mind? Like, all right, well, this is going on, that's going on. Like, do you feel like it kind of just flows, or do you feel like it's sometimes it can be difficult writing about certain things?
Sometimes it can be difficult. Essentially, if I don't connect with the music, but I try to put it into their perspective. I try to put myself in their shoes, and that's basically how I push through. Yeah. And then from there, it becomes easier to write about them.
That's awesome. Now, how does it feel going from requesting to write about people to not people requesting you to write about them?
It feels great, like just to know that people actually want me to write about them and their songs, that they trust me that much to have my opinion out there about them. It's a really great feeling. Like, awesome. I never thought I would be here right now today, awesome. Honestly.
Listen, we're happy to have her, man. We never thought we would talk to her like this. Exclusive one-on-one. But now let's talk about accountability, right? So not only are artists kind of holding you accountable, but you're also holding them accountable. So what's the type of status that you are telling artists, hey, look, I'm going to write about you, but this is the type of information? Like, what's the kind of accountability you're putting back on the artist to be able to, for you to be able to flow the way you need to in your writing?
Well, I would say just consistency when it comes to me sending questions. I expect them back, of course, because what else can I really work with if you don't send me the questions back?
Yes, absolutely.
It's not going to be as in-depth as you want it to be, because I don't have that much to really work with.
That's key, yeah.
And that's just basically it, just sending the questions back, sending back anything I ask of you. Like, sometimes I'll ask for lyrics or pictures. Yeah. That's it.
That's awesome. And now, with what's going on with the pandemic and everything like that, right? What's some of the things that you've seen, or were you able to dive a little bit deeper into certain areas you wanted to before? Because before, going to events and everything, that can take us some time. So what are some of the lanes that you've learned or you've seen that you've been able to kind of develop while you were during this time in the pandemic?
That's a good question. I feel like I was able to dig more into just doing artist interviews and, artist write-ups, because before it was solely either events, songs or albums, sometimes artists, but not as much as I'm doing now. Along with songs, I wasn't doing that many songs, but now I'm doing a lot of songs.
And now, do you feel like your writing is actually enhanced as a result of that? Like, because now we've had to spend a lot of time inside. So, like, what do you feel about your writing development? Like, how has that now progressed?
I feel like it's progressed. I've had a lot more time to actually read other journalists' work, so that helps my writing as well. And consistency, I feel like with me being consistent is just going to keep getting better and better.
That's awesome. And with the research that comes along with this process, what are some of the things that we could tell upcoming artists, not only upcoming artists, but writers and journalists that want to follow in your footsteps to know what it's like to write about these amazing artists that are coming up? What would you say some things that we can tell them?
Sure. I would say just have a really good passion for the music. If it doesn't connect with you, I don't suggest you write about it, because it's not gonna come out organic. It's gonna feel more forced. I also want to say, like,
tell them that's right. It's gonna come out, boy. That's right.
Right. Yes, time management again is very important, because if you don't have time management, you're not gonna get the ball rolling. And just stay hardworking. Don't give up. I know things get tough. There will be pieces that challenge you. There will be pieces that will make you want to quit or give up. There'll be opinions about your writing that you'll get hurt by. But just keep going, At the end of the day, you got to remember why you're doing it.
You heard it here first. We are at Jersey Magazine. Miss Natalee's in the building. How can they book you, follow you, book you for a journalist write-up and just everything that you're involved in?
Sure. So you could actually message me on Instagram. At Natalee_federal, or you can send me an email. It's natalee.federal@gmail.com.
Like I said, you heard it first, man. Miss Natalee, entertainment journalist, is in the building. We are Jersey Magazine.
We are Jersey. 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 We are Jersey.